All right, Nate, they are finally here. You know what, Nate? They have been announced yesterday, the NBA finalists for all these awards. So there are 6 awards going out, and 5 of them are players, 1 of them are coaches. So with that being said, let's get to it, Nate. Let's start with the Sixth Man of the Year. All right. First of all, the 3 finalists for Sixth Man of the Year, we got Derrick Rose, Jordan Clarkson, and Joe Ingles. All right. First of all, congratulations to the Utah Jazz on having 2 finalists for Sixth Man of the Year. Obviously, that's a big accomplishment. And then congratulations to Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose basically had a pretty good year coming off that bench. This year, Derrick Rose, he averaged 14.2 points per game. He averaged 1.9 rebounds, and he averaged 4.2 assists. So some pretty good stats for D Rose coming off the bench. And obviously the New York Knicks, they really did make a whole turnaround. So, and Derrick Rose coming off the bench was big for them as well. Now, Jordan Clarkson this year, he averaged 18.4 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. And again, going to the Utah Jazz, they were number 1 in the West, and that bench for them was really solid, with Jordan Clarkson. And getting to our next guy, Joe Ingles. Joe Ingles, Nate. Joe Ingles this year, he averaged 12.1 points per game, 3.6 rebounds, and 4.7 assists. So some good stats from Joe Ingles. Honestly, Nate, I got Jordan Clarkson winning this award. Okay, I just think Jordan Clarkson has been valued very much by the Utah Jazz. And again, Donovan Mitchell was out for a little bit, and Jordan Clarkson stepped up and he did a pretty good job as point guard. So, with that being said, I got Jordan Clarkson winning this Sixth Man of the Year. I think he did a great job, and I think he is a key reason. Same as Joe Ingles, but I think Jordan Clarkson was a major piece to that bench. So I got Jordan Clarkson.
I got Derrick Rose. Winning this.
Of course you do.
That's my guy. First of all, that's my guy.
I like Derrick Rose too, but I don't think he's gonna win it.
I think he will, and here's why. Okay. First of all, I think he should be a comeback player. I don't even know if they have that, but whatever. But
they don't have comeback player of the year.
Yeah, I think he should be a comeback. But look, all right. Derrick Rose hasn't really been the best player in the last few years. He goes back to New York and he does a really good job. Nothing against the other two guys, and my mind tells me that Jordan Clarkson will win it, but my heart's telling me go with D Rose. That's my guy right there. He's done a really, really good job in New York, and like you said, the New York Knicks have turned it around this season, and they did a really good job. Now they're in the playoffs. They're a number 4 seed, and they're an absolutely great team, Mario. So, and Derrick Rose has been contributing a lot, something that a lot of people thought wouldn't happen, but now he has. So I gotta give credit to all 3 of them. Obviously, I'm a rock with my guy D Rose, so I'll give me D Rose to win the Sixth Man of the Year.
Okay, let's move on to the next category. We got Most Improved Player of the Year, okay? And the finalist for this was Jerami Grant of the Detroit Pistons, Michael Porter Jr. of the Denver Nuggets, and Julius Randle of the New York Knicks. All right, so first of all, let's start with Jerami Grant, okay? Jerami Grant had a good year for the Pistons, Nate. So he basically, this year, he had 22.3 points per game. He had 4.6 rebounds, and he had 2.8 assists. So this is a pretty good stats right there for Jerami Grant. And if you want to compare them from this year to last year, considering the fact that it's most improved, last year he averaged 12 points a game, 3.5 rebounds, and 1.2 assists. So that's a major improvement. Going to Michael Porter Jr. I mean, last year, he wasn't really part of like the Nuggets lineup until later on that year. But Michael Porter Jr. this year, Nate, has averaged 19 points per game, 7.3 rebounds, and 1.1 assists. And just to kind of compare that to 2019, in 2019, he averaged 9.3 points per game, 4.7 rebounds, and 0.8 assists. So again, another huge improvement. And last but not least, Julius Randle. Okay, Julius Randle, obviously he's been an all-star this year. And he's had, this is his career year right here. He's averaged 24.1 points per game, 10.2 rebounds, and 6 assists. And if you want to compare that to last year he averaged 19.5 points per game, 9.7 rebounds, and 3.1 assists. Look, Nate, here's what I'm going to say, okay? Julius Randle, I think, is going to take this award, okay? And I understand it because he's an all-star. Out of all the guys that are on this list, he has kind of developed into a star in the league. But if you want to talk about most improved, I think you have to give the most improved. If we're talking about what he's done from this year compared to last year and the years before, I think Michael Porter Jr. should get that award. And the reason why I say that is because we're talking about a guy who went from 9 points to 19 points per game. Either and again, you look at it, even Jerami Grant, he went from 12 points to 22 points per game. Julius Randle went up like 5 points, he went up 3 rebounds, and he went up 3 assists, which is good. Don't get me wrong, it's most improved. It's improved, but I don't think it's the most improved in this whole category, but he will win this award though because Julius Randle, he was an all-star, he was the star of his team, taking them to the playoffs. Jerami Grant didn't take the Pistons to the playoffs. And as far as the Nuggets, they already have a star, and they got 2 stars that helped them get to the playoffs, and that's Jokic and Murray. So I think that Julius Randle is going to win this award, but when you're talking about most improved, I think you got to give that to I think most improved, I think Jerami Grant and Michael Porter Jr. have improved more than Julius Randle. But I got Julius Randle taking this award.
Yeah, so do I. He's done a really great job in New York. Like I said, about D Rose and New York Knicks, they done an absolutely amazing job this year. And yeah, Mario, you're absolutely right about the other two. The other two players improved their stats. Their point stats went up by almost 10. Julius Randle only went up by 5. But again, like you said, Julius Randle is taking his team to the playoffs. He's an all-star. And as for Jerami Grant, his team's not going to the playoffs, and Michael Porter Jr. already has stars on his team. So I already had Julius Randle winning either way. But yeah, let's go with Julius Randle, Mario. That's my guy.
All right, let's get to the next category, next award. We got Defensive Player of the Year, and I think this is one of the most prestigious, Nate. You got a lot of great defensive players who took this award home in the past, but we got Rudy Gobert, the Utah Jazz. We have Draymond Green of the Golden State Warriors, and we have Ben Simmons of the Philadelphia 76ers. So I'm going to read some stats, Nate, real quick. So this year for 2020 and 2021, I'm going to go first to Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert, I'm going to go to defensive rebounds because that's the one that matters in my opinion. This year, I'm just going to read the defensive stats. Rudy Gobert averaged 10.1 defensive rebounds per game. He averaged 0.6 steals per game and 2.7 blocks. Now, I'm going to go to Draymond Green real quick. Draymond Green averaged, I'm going to get to the stats in a little bit. So Draymond Green this year, Nate, he has averaged for defensive rebounds, he averaged 6.3 defensive rebounds per game, 1.7 steals and 0.8 blocks. And last but not least, Ben Simmons. I'm going to go to Ben Simmons. He averaged 5.6 defensive rebounds per game, 1.6 steals and 0.6 blocks. Look, Nate, I got to be honest with you. Defensively, I think I got Gobert taking this award. Gobert just proven himself to be one of the best defenders in the game. And I'm going to be honest, I think he is the best defender in the game. Obviously you can point, like, Ben Simmons has done a great job in the perimeter. Draymond Green has proven to be a premier defender and one of the elite defenders in the game throughout the past few years. But I got Rudy Gobert taking this award. I just think defensively he has been a presence for the Utah Jazz. So give me Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, give me Rudy Gobert too. Rudy Gobert is a huge part of this Utah Jazz team. If he wasn't on this team, I couldn't tell you how that team would be. He's a defensive powerhouse, and I'm going to be honest, I absolutely agree, Mario. Rudy Gobert is the best defensive player in the league. Say what you want about him. Obviously, last year, a lot of people made fun of him for having the NBA shut down because of the COVID and what he was doing. He was touching everything and whatnot. But let's be honest, that was inevitable. All the leagues eventually shut down after that, So I know a lot of people still like to joke around about that and, they still like to hold him to that. But, at the end of the day, you can't deny Rudy Gobert's talent as a player. He's an absolutely incredible defender. And, yeah, you're absolutely right, Monty. He's the best in the league. And you know what? As much as I love Ben Simmons and Draymond Green, I gotta go with Rudy Gobert. So give me Rudy Gobert to win Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay, we got the next category name. This is Rookie of the Year. This one's pretty interesting, but I think it's a 2-player race. But there are 3 players in this. The 3 players are Lamelo Ball of the Charlotte Hornets, Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves, and Tyrese Haliburton of the Sacramento Kings. So let's get into it. I'm going to read Lamelo Ball stats first. Lamelo Ball this year is averaging 15.7 points per game, 5.9 rebounds, and 6.1 assists. Anthony Edwards stats this year are, I'm looking for them right now. Wow, I got to type in his last name too because you guys don't know who Anthony Edwards is. All right, no problem. Sorry, the app is being kind of slow. This year, Anthony Edwards, he's averaging 4.7 rebounds per game, 19.3 points per game, and he's averaging 2.9 assists. And then last but not least, Tyrese Haliburton, because here's a guy who's kind of underlooked. This year he wasn't, as for rookies, he wasn't, again, being talked about as much as Anthony Edwards or Lamelo Ball. But this year, Tyrese Haliburton, he has averaged 13 points per game, 5.3 assists, and 3 rebounds per game. This is really tough, but again, I still have it being Lamelo Ball versus Anthony Edwards. And Anthony Edwards is almost averaged 20 points in his first year. But again, if we're going to go by stats, Nate, we talk about this so much that I got to go with the person who leads the most in stats. And with that being said, I got to go with Lamelo Ball. I think Lamelo Ball is going to take home Rookie of the Year. He just averages more rebounds and assists than Anthony Edwards. So with that being said, I got Lamelo Ball, but I think it's a 2-player race.
Yeah, so do I. I got Lamelo Ball winning as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony Edwards wins it. This is a guy that, both guys absolutely blew up the league when they first came in. I mentioned that LaMelo Ball is everything that Lonzo should have been in this first year, what we wanted him to be anyway, that is. And like we talked about how Lonzo's starting to kind of get to that height. LaMelo is already there. He's done a really good job in Charlotte. I can already see him having a bright future. Same thing with Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is definitely going to have a bright future in Minnesota. That is, if the team can get better. The team really hasn't been that good this year. They were one of the worst teams in the league. So hopefully they can actually build around him. And maybe one day, Anthony Edwards will be a star in the league. Same thing with Lamelo Ball. If MJ can actually build around him and Teddy Rozier and whatever they got on that team, I can see him being a star on his team. So, congratulations to everybody on here. And at the end of the day, I got Lamelo Ball winning this as well.
We got Coach of the Year, Nate. All right, this was a good one. This one really is a good one, all right? We have Quinn Snyder of the Utah Jazz, Tom Thibodeau of the New York Knicks, and Monty Williams of the Phoenix Suns. All right, I'm going to read the records because I feel like that speaks for the coach. That's the best thing I can speak for the coach. So we'll start off with the New York Knicks. So the New York Knicks this year, Nate, they had a record of 41-31. And they won their last 7 out of 10. Out of the last 10 games, they won 7 of them. Now going to the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz, obviously, they were the number 1 seed in the West this year. And their standings this year, they had a record of 52-20. And again, they also won 7 of their last 10. And last but not least, the Phoenix Suns, Nate. The Phoenix Suns, they had a pretty good season this year too. Obviously, we talked about the turnaround from where they were last year to where they were now. They had a record of 51-21, which was 1 game behind the Utah Jazz, and they also finished with 7 wins out of the last 10. I'm going to be honest with you, Nate. The person that was voted National Basketball Coach of the Year, I think will be voted Coach of the Year for these awards. Give me Monty Williams. I got Monty Williams and winning this for the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, so do I. I personally, I got Monty Williams winning as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if they vote the other two. Quinn Snyder's done a really good job with the Utah Jazz, and Tom Thibodeau has done an absolutely amazing job with the New York Knicks as well. Both coaches are absolutely amazing.
Right. And the difference between sorry to cut you off, but the difference between Monty Williams and Tom Thibodeau, and then you're going to Quinn Snyder, is Quinn Snyder has made the Utah Jazz they've been a very good team for the past few years since getting Donovan Mitchell.
Right, absolutely.
Going to Tom Thibodeau and Monty Williams, they made those turnarounds with those teams. The Knicks were not that great last year.
Absolutely.
Tom Thibodeau turned that team around and turned them into a real threat in these playoffs. Same thing with the Phoenix Suns. They weren't that great last year. But when you saw that 8-0 in the bubble, you realized how much potential that this Phoenix Suns team had, and Monty Williams brought that potential in them. So
absolutely. So at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a close 2 between Tom Thibodeau and Monty Williams, but I got Monty Williams winning this award as well, Mario.
Now let's go to the biggest award for the NBA, Nate. We got the NBA MVPs. Look, I like these 3 finalists, Nate. I do too. A lot of people are going to argue that like Giannis should have been in it. And, you got people who are going to be like, well, LeBron should be in it every year. But let me tell you something. I like these finalists, Nate. We got Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors. I'm going to tell you who Steph Curry is. Joel Embiid of the Philadelphia 76ers. I don't got to tell you who Joel Embiid is. And Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets. In case you guys don't know who Nikola Jokic is, go look up them highlights because that man is a damn beast. All right. We're going to go to the stats real quick, Nate. Obviously, Steph Curry, I believe he was the scoring champion this year with 32 points.
Correct.
Right. So he's got that going for him. Steph Curry this year, he averaged 32 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, and 5.8 assists. Joel Embiid, this year, he had a really good year, Nate. Joel Embiid this year averaged 28.5 points per game, 10.6 rebounds, and 2.8 assists. And Nikola Jokic, man. Nikola Jokic had a great year this year, Nate. I think this was his career year, and that says something because Nikola Jokic is a big star in this league. Nikola Jokic averaged 26.4 points per game, 10.8 rebounds, and 8.3 assists. I'm gonna be real with you, Nate. I got Nikola Jokic winning this award. Hands down, this man deserves this award. Not only did he play the whole season, okay, he did not average as many points as Steph Curry and Joel Embiid. I'll give people that, okay? But rebounds-wise, he was there, and I'm going to go back to Joel Embiid's stats for a second because I don't know how many rebounds Joel Embiid averaged this year. But when I'm looking at it, Nate, 10.6 rebounds for Joel Embiid. And then Nikola Jokic, he had, I believe, 10.8, right? 10.8. So he barely averages more rebounds than Joel Embiid. But then you look at the assists, Nate. I don't think I've ever seen a center average that many assists. 8.3. I don't think I've seen I know there's point guards in the league that don't average those types of assists. And that's not even his job. Okay? As a center, your job is to get boards and possibly be dominant. That's all. That's really what it is. Get your points, get your boards, get your blocks. This man is averaging 8.3 assists as a center. Okay? I'm sorry, but Nikola Jokic is my MVP. He played the whole season. The Denver Nuggets had a great record. Okay? No doubt about it. Nikola Jokic is my MVP. Joel Embiid, he ended up getting hurt. Again, not his fault, but he ended up not playing, I believe, like a couple weeks or whatever it was, 1 or 2 weeks. Steph Curry, he ended up Steph Curry, again, he's scoring champion. Congratulations to him. He could take his team to the 8th seed in the playoffs, and it's not as healthy as a team. But you know what? Give me Nikola Jokic, okay? Nikola Jokic, I think, has proven to be the best center in the game. And you can say Joel Embiid all you like. I do not care. I'm going Nikola Jokic MVP this year.
I got my guy, Steph Curry. That's my guy, bro. I love Steph Curry. I love all these guys, to be honest. I love Joel Embiid. I love Nikola Jokic. He's one of the best centers in the game, like you said, or the best center in the game.
Right, and that's taking.
But I gotta go with my guy.
Again, it's nothing. It's in that center thing. It's not taking anything from Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is a great center, and Absolutely. You can make an argument for both. But I got Nikola Jokic ahead of him.
I got Steph ahead of all of them, guy. I really do. And you know what? Like you said, if he takes his team in the playoffs this year, and the Warriors, again, that's a team no one expected to play be in the playoffs or whatever. I got to be honest. They win this game. Steph is my MVP, bro. He already is my MVP. That's my guy, bro. I love Steph Curry. I love watching that guy play some basketball. So you know what, Mario? Give me Steph Curry to win this MVP. He going to win MVP. That's my guy.
And that's it for the awards, Nate. These awards, they will be announced during the coverage of the playoffs. We don't know exactly when. That's why we did this prediction now. But again, let us know what your predictions are, whether it's on YouTube, Instagram, it don't matter. And we'll see who ends up winning these awards. Good luck to every award finalist that was nominated, and best of luck.